Good morning, everybody. I wanted to do a quick video to talk about essay writing and mainly the difference with the practice essay we did on Desiree's Baby at the beginning of the year. Now, in that essay, we focused on one story. There was only one that we had read. So your arguments were only in line with Desiree's Baby. I had planned on doing an essay on both Gatsby and The Disaster Artist. Once we finished reading The Disaster Artist, we would have done that in class. However, circumstances are that we do not have time for that. But the exam questions will be on both books. Now, how do we write an essay on two books? That's what we're going to see today. So in my case, I usually call these compare or contrast style essays, which means you're going to be showing how two things are similar or how they are not similar. So let's take this first example here. Compare or contrast G and T's likability. Now, we're not talking about gin and tonics here. We're talking about Gatsby and Tommy's likability. So basically, if you choose to compare, like I am doing in this example, you would have to show how both of these characters are likable or how both of them are unlikable. If you choose to do a contrast essay, well then at this point there's only one option, and that means that you're going to show how one is likable and the other is not. So they are different. This means that each point must be related to both books. If we look at the example that's here, we would answer this question by saying, firstly, both Gatsby and Tommy are likable characters as they are both mentally unstable. So what I am going to be doing here in this essay is that the first paragraph would be dedicated to showing that the fact that Gatsby and Tommy are unstable means that they are unlikable. So here, for example, I would say, indeed, when Gatsby relates to Nick his desire to repeat the past, we can see that his grasp with reality is slowly fading. That's my example with Gatsby. Similarly, Tommy also shows mental instability when he tells Greg that they are no longer friends and tries to reconcile with him moments later. Now, this is my second example from The Disaster Artist. I haven't started explaining yet why I'm using these examples, but they are clearly related to mental instability and to both books. My explanation would therefore combine both books again. With these examples, we can see that both Tommy and Gatsby present sides of themselves that are difficult to understand to those of us who do not share similar afflictions. Whether these traits make them likable or unlikable is a matter of personal judgment. However, their mental instability will lead them to dangerous tendencies that greatly affect their respective stories, which ultimately make them unlikable. If you want, I'll put up here a more clear example. There we go. We can see that this is a proper paragraph showing comparison here between the two characters of both books that we read during the year. Now, if I were doing a contrast style essay, here I could be showing, for example, that one character is likable and the other is not. So I could say something like, firstly, Gatsby and Tommy are different characters because they show different sides of their psyche. And then you could show examples of how one person we can understand him and the other we can't. So there's different ways to do this. You could compare in the sense that they are likable, or you could compare in the sense that they are unlikable. So there are different ways to approach this. But if we look at some little pointers here, what I wrote, be careful. It is very important that each of your 3 points be on both books. Okay, that's number one priority here. You cannot compare and contrast, which means you can't say yes in one paragraph, no, and them, but yes, right? That's similar to what we did at the beginning of the year. But you can't, for example, compare how they're similar in one paragraph, then show how they're different, and then come back to how they're similar. So you either stick to yes, 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 or no, no, no. For those of you who want to practice, this is last year's exam question. I don't remember if it was June or August, but the question was, compare or contrast how the theme of appearances is treated in both The Great Gatsby and The Disaster Artist. So here, for those of you who want to practice this, you would be comparing or contrasting the similarity of the theme of appearance in both books. So if you're comparing, you're saying how, it's similar, or if you're contrasting, you're saying how it's not similar. I hope that makes things a bit clearer, And as usual, if it's not, write me a message. And if you would like to write an essay to this and you would like my feedback on it, of course, send that to me as well. I should be finished correcting the flash fictions quite soon, so I'll send those back to you for those of you who did send me something. In the meantime, keep reading your books and keep commenting on the videos on the YouTube channel. Thank you very much. Have a good end of week and weekend.